For the next session. Um, Next up, we have a fireside chat on the topic, what's next for CTV, realistically speaking. Increased interactions, personalization, and immersive experiences have already taken off in the digital environment. As more sophisticated technologies are developed, as we witness the audience warming up to these innovations, what expectations does the industry hold as we look at CTV's future? The speakers will discuss how the future trajectory of the CTV landscape will pan out, the expectations as per the projections versus realistic numbers, and how leveraging data-driven insights and metrics will further give rise to larger-than-life digital experiences for the viewers. For this fireside chat, I would like to invite on stage APARNA TADIKONDA, Executive Vice President, South Interactive Avenues, a REPRISE network company. SIDDHARTH, Managing Director, India, SAARC and China, MIQ. SUNIL, WAGHMODE, Media Manager, Consumer Products Division, Himalaya Wellness Company.
Everything is repetitive. So I'm looking at this more like a summary of what we had during the day so that we can relieve the audience soon. They all look tired and bored.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so I think let's get into it quickly.
Sure, yeah.
Great. So I think a quick question to both of you. Where does the CTV space currently stand as compared to what was predicted a few years ago? Any quick comments on that?
Yeah, so I think if you look at what was predicted, right, way back in 2020, I think somewhere I read a third-party report which spoke about 50 million households already by 2022. I think while we are far away from that, but the still last 2 years have really grown, and we've seen a number of, I think, 25 million that people have quoted. So from what they've predicted to where we are, I think the growth was slow. But last 2 years, especially after COVID, I think the growth is accelerated, and with a lot happening, discussions like this, right, and forums where CTV is really evangelized, and with consumer behavior shifting, I think next 2 to 3 years, by 2025, I really think we will definitely hit 50 million plus. So that's what my take was.
Yeah, I think we have spoken, and multiple people must have spoken about the numbers which will grow over the years. I'll just give you one incident wherein we were discussing with amongst our friends post-pandemic that one of my friends just reached home, and he was like, his mom was not in front of the television set, and which was a ritual normally, 7:30 primetime show, Saas Bahu serial and all that, right? So he was surprised and he asked कि क्या सास बहू को छुट्टी है क्या आज क्या हो गया? So his mom said, which is very shockingly insight also, said that मैं जब चाहूँ तब मैं देख सकती हूँ अभी, because they have a connected TV, right? So there is a very strong insight wherein people have the convenience now. They can customize their playlist or the content which they want to see. So it definitely it is, and CTV, I think it's somewhere in between your linear TV and your new age platforms or digital platform too, so as to put in. It definitely has the potential to grow over the years. How it will grow, how much it will grow, with what percentage is something which we'll have to see.
Again, a question to both of you. Why are brands still, not investing in connected TV so much? Because the question is in terms of, there is a view that linear TV is still getting disproportionate amount of budgets as compared to, because obviously the numbers are getting bigger, these are premium audiences, so why?
So I think he would have a relevant answer for it being, representing a brand. But I don't really see that brands are not investing. Are brand investing enough? Maybe not yet, because I mean, if you look at a lot of brands have spoken today, Anushri, Vineet, they've all spoken about how there are many challenges that they're seeing within the CTV space, though there is real growth in this ecosystem. I think measurability, right, and a lot of traditional advertisers are still not ready, right, to understand the space. Therefore, maybe they don't know what to do, what kind of ads to run, what kind of creative messages to give. See, it's just not enough to be running a video ad or a TVC, down edits, because it's not a video channel alone, right? CTV consumer behavior is very different. So the measurement, transparency, what everybody talks about, I have a different point of view on that in terms of how you cannot compare transparency between various medium and CTV. But having said that, I think the mindset, right, in terms of what CTV will offer, it's very complex space for a lot of traditional advertisers. They're warming up to a lot of digital, marketing themselves, and therefore CTV is another third pillar, which is quite complex. So I think, while I wouldn't say they're not investing. Are they investing enough is the question maybe that we should ask. Everybody goes behind reach. So if you keep reach as your primary, media metric, then you'll never be able to invest in CTV enough. I think there are metrics beyond reach that brands should see. Especially when you're talking about consumer engagement, time spent, undivided attention that a consumer is giving you. Therefore, how do you leverage that is more important than reach. If you chase reach, I think it will be far that we will see CTV investments, being, equal to television medium.
I think brands definitely, as you said, want to invest in this platform. But there are a couple of challenges which brands obviously face. Every other penny which is being spent, everybody in the boardroom asks, kitna paisa aaya wapas, right? Or what is the ROI? So definitely brands are conscious enough to understand the platform first and then invest accordingly. So first and foremost, it is not scalable at this point in time. It is right now very fragmented, as people have said in the initial discussions. So I think once the scale goes up, people would definitely, because every brand would not want to invest pan-India. They would want to focus on specific markets. Then again, the scale goes down, right? So you have to be very conscious enough where you want to invest, how do you want to invest, and what extent it will give you the incremental reach over the platforms which you are investing at this point in time. So yeah.
Related to this is, so how do you, when you have a plan for linear TV, and then, how do you compare that with a plan on connected TV? Are cord cutters a component of boardroom discussions nowadays?
See, I'll tell you the good part is the brand teams themselves are asking for the plan on connected TV specifically. One primary reason which we have experimented was the BLS which we have put in. And we have seen the ad recall going up, the brand uplift has definitely been seen. So brand teams want to invest in this, but definitely not because they have a restriction in terms of getting the mass reach, balancing the overall CPR, CPRP, whatever, the metrics we chase on. So I think it is still at the stage wherein people look at it as an incremental reach platform. One more thing which definitely the connected TV has, which is interactive ad formats, right? Which linear TV doesn't have at this point in time. So people can experiment in that sense also, wherein they can have, apart from video, they can also have display banners, and obviously people who don't have a video asset at this point in time, they can leverage this ad formats as well.
So in fact, I was talking to Vineet just some time back, and I think the moment you start looking at CTV as a budget from linear TV and therefore what we can do, the entire premise of what CTV can offer just kind of diminishes, right? You will always compare it, like he said, incremental reach. At this point in time, the incremental reach that a CTV can give is minuscule, right? But the kind of users that I'm chasing, the kind of affluent audiences that I'm chasing, especially for, a category like e-commerce, where I need more and more people to spend, my share of wallet, needs to be increased for every brand, that incrementality is very minuscule, right? And therefore, I do believe strongly that we should not look at CTV and compare it with either a digital ecosystem or a TV. It needs to be like a third pillar in your media mix, and you need to build your own playbook, which is very different from what a linear TV would have. And I think agencies like us should really play a role in educating and creating awareness to clients about how it's just not about reach. I know you got to go back and answer your board about what CTV has done, but I think we are not doing justice to the medium and I'm choosing my word medium. It's just not, you know, a linear TV or, you know, any other medium. It is another third medium, and therefore the moment you compare it with linear TV and, you know, budgets, therefore, you know, 2%, I will try and experiment. I think you're not allowing CTV to grow, and therefore you need to build your own playbook. And I think partners like you should be able to do a great job on that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's where we think that, you know, we want to play a role in this. And I think, you know, just to add, Aparna, on the same thread, how do you think agencies can influence in this, right? And there are different kinds of agencies, right? So, you know, those who do integrated planning, those who don't do, there are digital first agencies as well. And, you know, so, you know, in that entire agency ecosystem, what do you see the role of agencies in this?
So I think first and foremost, I would, you know, look at simplifying things for brands, right? I think there are too many, you know, jargons, too many data lakes, data cleaning rooms, your DSPs, your, you know, I mean, there are various things that you can layer and target, and it becomes so niche that it's important for agencies like us to actually simplify for brands, because we are privy to their objectives, we are privy to, you know, what that entire activity or campaign should drive, and hence I think it's a big responsibility on agencies to ensure that they simplify it for clients, right? Secondly, like I said, strategic planning. It's not about, I think, I don't know, Anushri maybe said that, it's not about including CTV as a line item in your Excel plan, right? But it's about, you know, ensuring how CTV is an important part of your media mix. I've been looking at some of your case studies. I think CTV can do much more. Therefore, my urge to my team, planners that I work with closely, I also, you know, kind of tell them that let's not look at it like a line item in an Excel plan. Then you would do a display or a video or, you know, something, and then that is not, you know, justified enough. How can this be a planning, you know, kind of a channel on its own? And therefore, that's something that we really need to drive, right? So these are the two large things. Everybody spoke about transparency, you know, measurement challenges. Now, see, when digital was growing, right, we still have, I still have my clients tell me digital is a black box, right? But you've accepted digital, and we can see the spends on digital actually overpowering your you know, television medium as well. So again, it's on us. The onus is on us to work with multiple partners, be it your, you know, measurement partners, be it your targeting, right? How can you, you know, create more effective targeting with multiple partners and ensure that we create a playbook and align brands, clients, that this is an emerging medium, right? This will evolve, right? Like how digital was a couple of years back. And therefore, what to expect, what not to expect, right? This will be the measurement in absence of anything else, right? And that is the convincing that we got to do brands, because we are in the larger scheme of, you know, doing things. And I think that responsibility lies, you know, largely on us.
Right. Sunil, I have a question. Your CTV budgets, do they sit in linear TV budgets or do they sit in digital budgets?
Budgets are budgets actually, whether they sit in a linear TV. But yeah, so primarily, as Vineet also said, primarily the budget comes from the digital for sure. But yeah, having said that, see, we don't analyze, as Aparna said, we at Himalaya also don't analyze it that ways, wherein we want to look at TV in silos and digital in silos. We look at it holistically, the entire plan, and then we see that which platform is required for the brand to create that kind of impact in terms of your media attributes or brand attributes, not necessarily only reach. Yeah.
I mean, he said digital budgets. Already digital budgets are so low. I don't know if you further take from digital what is left in digital. You should take budgets from TV. But jokes apart, I think one point I want to add there is, see, it's all audience backwards planning, right? And that's what integrated agencies today are driving at, right? We are, like, I represent Interactive Avenues. We are part of IPG Media Brands, but we've truly integrated now in our thinking, which means that it's not about TV or CTV or digital or from where budgets will go. We are completely changing our mindset, especially with large brands like Amazon and ITC, the foods that we work with. There is no choice but to think audience backwards. And if you therefore want to look at a cohort of affluence, you know, audience, right, affluent audience, then there is no other choice than to, you know, kind of look at. So it's not about TV, digital, CTV, print, kahan se paise you're bringing, but it's about where your audience is, and therefore, you know, what is the sufficiency that I'm going to get on that, you know, how much more engagement that I'm driving, right? How am I, you know, that undivided attention, how am I leveraging that? So these things, I think, as agencies, again, we should really drive home this point to brands is what I feel.
I think it depends upon the brands also. So we have a lot of digital first brands, like we have Party Smart, we have Quista Pro, wherein the entire strategy depends only on digital. And these brands essentially doesn't have video assets per se, and then they are open to explore newer platforms and see what are the results they would get, right? So yeah.
Yeah, no, and absolutely adding to your thread on integrated planning, Aparna. So we have like an intelligence hub where for like brands, we are able to see that, okay, where is your audience, right? Is it on linear TV? Is it on OTT? Is it on connected TV? And over the years, like last 3 years, I have constantly seen the graph tilting towards, you know, audiences moving, right? So earlier, if for a brand like say L'Oreal, 70% audience was on linear TV and 30% on connected TV. This year we are seeing exactly the numbers are reversed, right? So the numbers are 70% connected TV and 30% on linear TV. Sorry, can I have a bottle of water? Sorry. So I'll go to my next question. So Sunil, what is your wish list? Yeah, sorry, my voice. So Sunil, as a brand, what's your wish list from your agency and from a tech and data partner like us?
See, wish list तो बहुत सारी होती हैं, ये दिल मांगे मोर हमेशा. नहीं, but I think the first and foremost thing is the consolidation of the fragmented platforms, so to say, simplifying it, making it more adapted to the data points which will use the behavioral aspect of the consumer, and using that data insights within those platforms, pushing that in the dashboards and using that in the campaigns, so as to say, so that it will be more sharper, it will be more specific, will reach to the specific audience per se, and I think it will drive more ROIs also eventually.
Great, yeah. Okay, so probably last question from me. So future trends, you know, so how do you see CTV space evolving in the future, and what do you expect from this?
So, like I said before, if an advertiser is chasing reach, I think CTV will take quite some time to figure in the, you know, large scheme of things in terms of, you know, the budget dispersion. But I think a big advantage that I see is the consumer behavior on, you know, a connected TV, and therefore around that, largely the trends that I see is how innovative your formats are. I think you spoke about a lot of them in your case studies. It was quite interesting to watch some new formats. But look at, you know, if CTV will continue to grow on live sports and events, right? So if that is the case, then over the course of next 2 years, how disruptive, you know, what are the kind of, I mean, are you thinking of digital overlays? Are you thinking of disruption like how your Uber Eats is done? So there is a lot that you can really integrate, engage, creative, interactive experiences. That's going to be the differentiator. So it's a lot on, you know, your service providers to think on those lines. So I would say, you know, shoppable ads, for example, right? A lot of consumers now are, you know, very comfortable, you know, on e-commerce, and therefore, how can you facilitate shoppable ads within the ecosystem of CTV without actually going out, right? That will be like an interesting trend to see, and I think it's not far away. Also, your interactive ads that I spoke about is another interesting trend. I think programmatic is another trend. A lot of it is programmatically, you know, advertised right now. What will be interesting is to see the scale. But like Anushri also mentioned, another trend is your addressable advertising, right? What kind of cohorts you have, what kind of experiences you're creating, because again, affluent is generic. It all depends on whether you want to look at CTV as a broad-based affluent audience, or you really want to slice and dice and look at, what. So that kind of, I think trend will be interesting to see. So broadly, I think formats experience would be my take on CTV, because reach will not be, you can't compete with reach of a linear TV or digital for that matter in the next 1 or 2 years. Therefore, leverage the medium for what it is, and therefore invest a lot in creating consumer experiences. And also the trend, another connected trend is how are you, kind of connecting your mobile phone or your wearable or your, smart TV, because that will again give a lot of interesting data, and then you can kind of close the consumer journey then and there. I see a ad, and then I'm actually going to, kind of engage with that ad, through my mobile phone, and then I'm experiencing then and there. So how are you, closing the consumer journey when it starts with the CTV is another interesting trend. If that is, if like there are so many tech partners, data partners, so if I think the ecosystem is synergized in a way that this experience closes, I think that's an interesting differentiator for CTV. I think that brands will really look at. So these are broadly 3-4 things that I can think about.
I think very aptly put in, you have actually put in a lot of valid points, and I so feel that once the scale goes up, definitely there are a lot of avenues in terms of the measurability of the platform, and also the way we are going to target the audience is going to be refined over the years. One more trend which I could think of is the shelf life of a smart TV would go down, right? Because the new technology keep on coming in, like a smartphone, similar to that smart TVs also get redundant in a very short period of time. So that is something which we could see of. The ad formats would get more robust and interactive, as Aparna said. So there's a lot of potential within CTV at this point in time, and there are a lot of things which we can do. So as an advertiser, as agency partners and the platforms, service providers, we all have to look at the platform in a holistic way, wherein we can also measure, we can also at the same time balance between the privacy and the personalization of the CTV at the same time.
Yeah, so what next after you watch an ad, right? Like he said, holistic. I would term that as full funnel in our digital, kind of a language. I watch an ad, fine. But what next, right? In the conversion funnel, after you watch an ad, if we are able to, I think, kind of put a, holistic picture, like he said, I think that will be an interesting, where you're not just viewing an ad like a linear TV, but you're also, kind of moving the consumer through the journey. And that's, I mean, you can't call it trend, but that's a behavior. Therefore, how are you facilitating that? It's going to be an interesting, think if we can crack.
Yeah, and just to add, what we have also seen is that a platform like Netflix, which is completely subscription based, is now getting into advertising space as well. And globally now we are doing campaigns on Netflix, for example. And these global platforms will be integrating global audiences. At the same time, I think connected TV will also be hyper local as well, right? Because there will be a lot of advertisers who are city based, and connected TV would be able to, get them that advantage that, okay, just focus on a city and do your advertising there and go hyper local and still use TV as a format. And I also, what we are also seeing globally is that I think it's not just focused on TV, but as you said, there are so many devices which are coming up. So all devices will become smart, and there will be a lot of data which will be coming out of that. And hence data play will obviously keep increasing, and I think we will have so many form factors which we cannot even imagine right now.
Yeah, like Anushri said, I think another word she used is, don't make it like an advertising. So which means that, the future trend, I'm sure there is going to be a time where I see an ad, I, talk to my voice assistant, right, and ask Alexa or Google to, kind of connect that offer to my mobile, where I actually have my app, right, and where I'm going to, and then that journey becomes very interesting, because you would want consumer to see an ad on CTV and do something about it. Otherwise, we don't need a CTV. It will be like, linear TV. So that connected ecosystem to a consumer is going to be an interesting trend if that comes, next few years. Yeah.
Define the future.
I hope so. I'm alive to see that future, but yes.
Great. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you guys.
I think we can.
If there are any questions, otherwise, yeah, there's a question.
Uh, my name is Nitesh. I represent India's #1 smartphone and TV brand Xiaomi. Um, Not a question, but a request to all the panelists here. The request is, a TV is connected only if it is smart, right? And vice versa. A TV is smart only because it is connected, right? Most of our agency friends, what they are missing is, they are focusing only on this easy bets, which are the not the publishers basically, but the apps who are based on the smart TVs, right? The missing link here is where they can educate the advertisers very well is seeing the most personalized factor, which is the TV actually, right? Yeah. The moment you switch on TV, my colleague from my competitor brand, he mentioned that 9 minutes a user spends on what he or she he's willing to watch. Imagine for that 9 minutes, if you as an advertiser can showcase the right content to the user, and by content I mean the ad as well, right? If the story is narrated well, there would be an action, and obviously all of you from the digital fraternity will get the right response or the ROIs, right? So my point is that missing link is, all of us, I especially request all the agency members, please understand TV or a hardware has much more role to play in the connected TV ecosystem for the advertisers, right?
Absolutely.
So
absolutely, it's a great touch point. In fact, Gaurav, my colleague there, we both of us were in fact having a conversation about how OEMs by itself, right, unlock great opportunities. I didn't touch upon personalization. I think a lot of them have been speaking through the day, but can't agree with you more. It's a great touch point. And how do you actually create narratives, right, and storytelling through that kind of time that viewers are spending, and how can you unlock opportunities to engage further? I think definitely
exactly.
Agree with
so
you.
we integrate the metadata, right?
Absolutely.
So we know what Aparna is watching, keeping all the privacy laws in place.
Yeah.
We recommend our artificial intelligence is strong enough to know what Siddharth has watched on Netflix, what Aparna has watched on Prime Video, and basis all that we recommend content to you.
Absolutely.
So that the moment you come on the platform, you don't have to spend 9-10 minutes next time.
Yeah.
So imagine at that moment when you know that personalization is already done by the hardware manufacturer, imagine if you as an agency, you pitch the right content or right placement to your advertiser, the return on investment which they will get would be much, much higher.
Totally agree with you. In fact, Xiaomi is one of our clients. So it is in our interest to actually go and sell, solutions around, OEMs. But yeah, totally agree with you. In fact, my team, we've been working on a lot of solutions with your marketing team, right? To look at partnerships, to look at how we can leverage our, clientele and then build partnership with OEMs. You will see a lot of innovative solutions that we'll keep coming
So
up
I mean,
with.
you can anytime reach out to me or my team members. Anything that
Absolutely.
goes on phone or TV, that goes through me.
Absolutely. Yeah. Nice meeting you.
Let's have a huge round of applause for them, guys.